Whoa! Hello, everyone. This is Hoodie D here from the GCA. I am joined by the lovely Lady Medea, and today we are going to be reviewing Speak No Evil. This is a new English American horror movie. It's a remake of a 2022 Danish film. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same name, Speak No Evil. This is a very simple plot. We follow a family here who accept an invitation to stay at a rural home of a seemingly friendly couple that they met on their vacation trip. However, this trip turns into a nightmare, and it's not what they thought it was. So we're gonna get into it. For me personally, the movie took a little while to get going before it got intense. Horror. I would say probably about 45, 50 minutes in, it was pretty dry for me. Not a whole lot happened, but the redeeming factor, James McAvoy's performance in this movie was incredible, top notch. Regardless if you think the movie's good, if you think the movie's bad, his performance is incredible. He felt acted like a true psychopath. I was very towards the end, some of the scenes had me very tense. The way he portrayed himself and just his mannerisms, the way he moved and the way he yelled, he just was very into this role, and it worked for this movie. How did you like his performance, Lady Medea?
Just like you said, I absolutely loved it. So what I want to mention was that this movie was advertised as a horror movie, and despite of some pretty intense scenes, I really didn't quite think it was a horror movie. I would just say it was like more like a thriller. It yeah, I don't know if it had like a the classical horror elements in there. Yes, it was pretty scary at times, but like I said, more like a thriller rather than a horror movie. But just like you mentioned, James McAvoy, he did excellent job. He really, this role was like made for him. He is a perfect psychopath. A couple times I was looking at him, and his his facial expressions, his mannerism, and I was like, this is like too. He looks way too comfortable. Actually, I was like, is he hiding his true self? He's yeah, yes, he's sadistic ways, but yeah, no, he did excellent job. He really did. He really did. He really shined as an actor in that movie.
For me, he carried this movie. If it was, you know, any other B-list actor, I don't think it would have worked as well. He carried
Mhm.
the movie for me. So as the movie goes on, the tension slowly builds. The family exhibits very disturbing behaviors. Just very weird things start happening, and there's a lot of red flags here. And one of my biggest problems with this movie is that the dad of this family is a pussy. He doesn't know how to stand up for himself. He doesn't know how to stand up for his family, his kid. So there were a lot of moments where he had the chance to do the right thing, which would be leave their property or, distance themselves
Mhm.
away from this family. And the husband is just completely oblivious to what's going on. And there is a little bit of a side plot going on where his wife didn't really have an affair, but she had some text messages that could have led to an affair. So there's a bit of a trust issue in their relationship, which is, a little subplot in the movie that they kind of throw in there just to add some, character development between those two, which is fine. But overall, it didn't really add anything for me per se, because again, I think the husband was very weak in his portrayal of being a father and supposed to be a protector of a family. So I don't know. Did you enjoy the family, the father?
So, the premise of the movie is basically to show us how, in the face of the real danger, uh, you know, it's definitely beneficial to react properly, right? You have the family here that you have an extremely anxious daughter, and think about how many times they had to they jeopardized their, health and well-being and their life because she kept leaving her favorite little toy or whatever it was, the security blanket behind, and they actually had to kept, going back for it, right? So you have this extremely anxious daughter, and not unsurprisingly, because you have extremely anxious parents, kind of, like you said, the father is a pushover, the mother has more balls than he does. She is also very meek, and they both are very, they cannot say no. They don't know how to refuse something. They don't listen to their sixth sense. Finally, when things start escalating, and that it becomes more and more obvious that there is something really extremely wrong with their hosts, with the other family, there's a little light bulbs trying to go on, but they are ignoring all those signs, and just keep walking into those crazy situations, like with no clue that they are in extreme danger. Finally, the daughter has to alert them, okay, we have some serial killers in our hands. Let's react properly when they actually start taking a little bit more actions. And again, mother more than the father. Yeah, so it started kind of annoying me. It reminds me of another movie that I watched. We had a watch party on our channel. It was called Funny Games, and it was almost the same situation, a little different because the strangers showed up at their family home, at the family's home, and also were terrorizing them. And again, the father was, instead of protecting the family, he was actually the weakest link there. So I saw it again in this movie, and it was like, oh no, not again. Another very unmanly man. So
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, you you expect, even if you're a small guy, even if you don't know how to, you don't have a gun, you don't know how to fight, you still got to stand up for your family and be a man. That's my only like gripe with that character.
mhm,
Um another thing, that when it comes to the family, I could not stand that little toy that that girl had and left behind. I think it was a little bunny, like a stuffed
yeah,
animal, it was like a bunny.
yeah.
And the family finally gets the balls to leave the house, and the girl forgets her bunny. Why would you go back? Why? It was the stupidest thing. I That part in the movie really irritated me because
Hmm.
no one in their right mind would go back. Just
No,
because a 12-year-old is asking for a stuffed animal. No one in their right mind would go back to that situation.
yeah.
So that movie, that part of the movie really took a hit from me there. I just thought that was a stupid decision to put in the script, and no logical parents would have gone back.
Yeah. Again, it shows you how unrealistic they were in their submissive nature, because yes, you have this child who obviously has some issues, and the little bunny was her like security, whatever, stuffed animal or whatever. But it doesn't matter. You're flying for your life at this point. You made a decision to leave, and you had the if they did, there would be no movie. The end. They would be safe. No stress. I mean, eh, forget the for. It would be all done. It would be perfect. They had some, not nice experience, but they got out instead of all that trauma after what happened to them after, right? So yeah, not a good choice.
You said, eh. So eventually, we find out that this couple who invites people to stay with them are up to no good, which everyone in the audience knew already. But they kidnap people and pretty much, take them for ransom, make them, send them all of their money, and they end up killing them. And they have this little boy with them who's from the prior family that they kidnapped and killed, and they cut his tongue out so he can't talk. And that's a big part of the movie, is this kid is trying to, say, hey, this is not a good situation here. I'm trying to tell you guys I need help, but he can't talk, so it's very hard for him to do it. And the parents are watching him constantly, so he's trying to give, the other family little nuances and signs that, things are not right. And eventually he does show the little girl their little lockup chamber where they kill people.
Mhm.
And that's when the girl tells their parents, we need to get out of here. And that leads to the finale. uh they hide in the house. There's a kind of a shootout. That was a pretty intense scene where they're hiding in the house. And in the end, they do get away. The little boy does kill James McAvoy, which was a very intense scene, just smashing him with the brick. I was like, oh man, wow. But with that said, I have not seen the remake. So I want to ask you, what is different in the remake? What did you like or not like compared to the remake?
So the original movie came out in 2022, like you mentioned, and it was a Danish production. And what I the one I'm not gonna get into, there were scenes that were very similar and there were scenes that were much different. But what was a shocking difference for me was, and if you haven't seen it, well, here is the spoiler because I'm gonna talk about the ending. The ending was very much different, and I feel like it was the premise of the movie. It was the culmination point of the movie, and it all made sense with that ending. So in the 2022 movie, the parents actually do get killed, and bringing it back to the scene where the boy kills James McAvoy by smashing his face with the rock. This is how the parents died.
Oh,
So that's where the movies tie together,
okay,
right?
okay.
So it is that ending. As much as it shocked me, I did not see that coming. I did not expect that those parents actually are gonna die. The daughter's tongue is gonna get cut out, and the movie ends with the killer couple setting to go to to the vacation next year, right? Had to have a vacation, and of course, we know that it's gonna all repeat itself, right? The story. So that was the difference. And I feel like because the premise of the movie was to show us, if you find yourself in a dangerous situation, and if you have a sixth sense, your gut feeling that something is wrong, or even the signs, or that you're in danger, you have to act. You have to properly react, whether it's by running away, fighting back, or just by making the right decisions. And what we basically, the culmination of the original movie is they did it, so they lost their lives, right? So in the remake, the new movie, when I saw them actually killing their oppressors, the serial killer couple, I was like, this is not right. They screwed it up because now there's no message, you know. That's what really messed up that movie for me. That's it, like I said, the original movie. When you see that ending, that you get the message. As shocking as it was really, really intense, but it needed to be shown. Here, this time, not, they got away. So, well, okay.
Well,
So
that seems like a
yeah.
very different movie there. The
Mhm.
the family gets away safe, the other one they don't. So
Yeah.
Uh,
Very disappointing too. I mean, I was kind of like, well, not expecting it, but kind of looking forward to that final boom, and it just wasn't there.
oh, that's very interesting. Thank you for letting me know because again, I had no idea this was a remake until I did a
Mhm.
little more research after I saw the movie. So,
Yeah.
um, thank you for that. Overall, what is your rating of this movie? What do you think?
Probably because of lack of that really appropriate conclusion, I would just go down to 5 or 6
Okay,
out of
okay.
10. Mm-hmm.
I agree. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. Mainly because it took a little while to get going in the beginning for me, and then there was just some really dumb decisions by the family, especially the dad. The mom had more balls than him, and but overall, I enjoyed James McAvoy's performance. He carried the movie for me. He was
Yeah.
the only reason I wanted to stay. And towards the end, like we had said earlier, his mannerisms, his facial expressions, he felt like a true psychopath, which I can appreciate as someone who enjoys thrillers and horror movies. So, good job to James McAvoy. Thank you
He did
guys for
an
watching our review
excellent
here.
job.